This is such another good question because of the times we're in. But number one, society has no concept of what a man should be. So if anybody's listening to media about how a man should be, like they should just be putting a middle finger up because at the end of the day, media has been trying to condition us, men and women, since about the 50s. After World War II, everybody came back home. You had madmen take over how to market. They've been marketing and positioning that marketing on what men are supposed to do, how they're supposed to be, just like women, right? So this whole social experiment has been going on for a long time of conditioning us, which is why that alignment's jacked up. But then when we talk about this new wave of freaking media, psychological operation that they're doing on everybody, we start talking about how they start terming things like toxic masculinity. Well, let's break this down for a second because you guys all know I'm big on foundations. Well, what does toxicity mean? Its definition means unfit for consumption. So what you're saying is that masculinity is unfit for this world, is unfit for us to be, right? Which to me, go fuck yourself, because men need to be in this world. The polarity of masculine and feminine is why this world works well. And when we start to take men out of their power and out of being a role in this society, we are not left with a positive society, because you can go look in other societies around the world that are run in matriarchs and they have their own toxic behaviors. So I hate when people say toxic masculinity. Now, are there traits within masculinity and femininity that anybody can make toxic or make harsh or make wrong? Sure, absolutely. There's traits that we can betray and use for insidious reasons, but we're not sitting here saying that the entire feminine way of being is toxic, are we? No, because it's not. And that's the whole thing. When people want to say that, I think that they're, ignorant to actually what they're saying, and they're just parroting what's going on in the media. And what's happening, in my opinion, is men are being emasculated because of the fact that the media needs to attack them, to say, oh, you guys have had this power for too long, there's the patriarchy, and like things are unequal. No, they're just trying to create dissension, and they're trying to create anarchy and confusion. What's really happening is there's this beautiful balance right now in today's society when you look at the equality of where women are up to now and where men are, and how everybody, I mean, when I was working in the government, most of my bosses were female, right? And so like, you want to tell me that there's this real disparity that's still going on, significant to back in like the 80s and maybe even the early 90s? No, it's very different now. And so they're trying to attack men and emasculate men so they can continue to almost disenfranchise us and then make us not own this power that we actually have to be a huge contributing member to society. And in all honesty, like when we look at things where you look at something that, again, I don't want to get political, but like you look at things around the world where warlords kind of take control of areas, right? When they do this in foreign countries and stuff like that, well, what happens? They basically run in there and they kill off all the men, they leave the women, and then they take the children. Okay, well, why would you do that? If men weren't such a powerful force in this world to create balance, why would you do that? It's because we are, and good men need to continue to stand up, and good men need to stop being emasculated. But society wants to rip that down because they don't want good men standing up, because then they can create this imbalance within society. So I hate this term toxic masculinity. I think I would challenge anybody that wants to say that to have a conversation about it and prove that they're not ignorant to the term, because at the end of the day, that's my position, is they are.